Have you ever heard a sound that made you cry without knowing why? Or a tone that stopped your thoughts cold, like someone hit pause on the noise in your head? What if that wasn't coincidence? What if sound carries more than waves? What if it carries awakening? The ancient mystery schools believe something few modern minds dare to entertain. Sound isn't just vibration. Sound is structure. Sound is memory. Sound is code. And hidden inside that code are frequencies that can open doors, not just in the mind, but in consciousness itself. Among these frequencies, one stands apart, 963 Hertz, known as the God frequency, the crown activator, the key to higher consciousness, not because of magic, but because of what it does to the brain. Let's break it down. 1. The Solfeggio scale. The 963 Hertz tone is part of the Solfeggio frequencies, a 6-tone scale rediscovered by Dr. Joseph Pineal in the 1970s, believed to trace back to early Gregorian chants. Each tone has a function: 396 Hertz, liberating guilt and fear, 528 Hertz, DNA repair and transformation, 741 Hertz, awakening, intuition, 963 Hertz, connecting to the divine, unity, and the oneness field. These aren't random numbers. Researchers and sound healers alike have documented how these tones interact with the brain's electrical rhythms, especially in deep meditative states. 2. What 963 Hertz does when listened to consistently. 963 Hertz is said to stimulate the pineal gland, enhance gamma brainwave activity, linked to expanded awareness, improve access to dream states and lucid visions, trigger feelings of unity, timelessness, and unshakable calm. But how? Because sound isn't neutral. It carries geometry. It shapes water. And your body is over 70% water. So when you bathe in 963 Hertz, you're not just listening, you're retuning, like placing a chaotic orchestra back into harmony. In the next part, we'll explore how this frequency specifically affects your pineal gland, the ancient organ of intuition and access to higher states of consciousness. But before we go there, put on a set of headphones, sit somewhere quiet, and listen to 963 Hertz just for 5 minutes. Then ask yourself, if sound can touch places in me that words can't, what have I been ignoring in the silence? Deep within your brain, nestled between the two hemispheres, lies a pine cone-shaped gland about the size of a grain of rice. It's called the pineal gland. Modern science says it regulates melatonin and controls sleep cycles. But the ancients said something else entirely. Greater than this is the seat of the soul. 1. What is the pineal gland? Really? Physically, it's part of the endocrine system. It responds to light and darkness. It's covered in photoreceptor cells, just like your eyes. It even contains trace amounts of crystals. biogenic magnetite and calcite. That's right. You have a literal crystal antenna in your brain. This is why it's often called your third eye. And like any antenna, it can be tuned. 2. How 963 Hz interacts with the pineal. The 963 Hz frequency produces gamma wave resonance in the brain between 40 to 100 Hz. These waves are associated with higher states of consciousness, hyperintuitive insight, bliss states, non-linear awareness, deep meditative clarity. When 963 Hz is played regularly, it stimulates neuroplasticity. It calms overactive beta activity, stress-related thinking, and it helps activate the pineal's dormant sensitivity. In other words, it wakes up the eye that sees within. 3. Why this matters. Because we live in a world of noise, not just sound, but mental clutter, toxic light, artificial frequencies, digital overload. All of it clouds the pineal, calcifies it, deadens it. But 963 Hz? It clears the static. That's why people report increased dream recall, spontaneous moments of deep knowing, a return of inner vision, and an emotional lightness they haven't felt in years. They're not imagining it. They're just finally tuned in. In the next part, we'll explore ancient practices that used sound, especially tones like 963 Hz, to alter consciousness deliberately, not randomly. You'll see how monks, mystics, and musicians turned vibration into transformation. But before that, try this. Put on the frequency again, close your eyes, and focus all attention on the center of your forehead just above your brow. Then ask, if I've had a built-in gateway to higher perception my whole life, why haven't I been taught how to use it? Long before streaming apps and headphones, before EEGs and brain scans, there were temples, caves, chambers carved from stone, built not just for worship, but for resonance. 1. Sound as sacred technology. In ancient Egypt, initiates would meditate in granite chambers that amplified sound. In Vedic India, mantras were not just prayers, they were sonic algorithms. Tibetan monks chanted low harmonic tones that shifted brainwave states. Gregorian chants echoed in cathedrals precisely constructed for acoustic effect. Why? Because they knew, greater than to change the mind, change the frequency, to reach the divine, become vibration. And the closer the frequency moved toward pure unity, the higher the state of consciousness it produced. 963 Hz, known in esoteric systems as the tone of oneness, was used not to feel better, but to merge with the source. 2. Frequency as portal. When you bathe in sound, especially high harmonics like 963 Hz, your brain begins syncing to a deeper rhythm. Your body slows, your breath aligns, and your identity begins to blur. You're no longer you. You are awareness, boundless, vast, timeless. This is why monks could meditate for days, mystics could access visions, and music at the right frequency could trigger healing without words, because sound doesn't convince the mind, it bypasses it. It speaks directly to the field. 3. The modern rediscovery. Today, we have headphones instead of temples, playlists instead of chants, science instead of mythology. But the truth hasn't changed. Brainwave entrainment shows how sound can induce alpha, theta, gamma states, binaural beats, enhance hemispheric synchronization. Frequencies like 963 Hz are used in clinics for deep relaxation, trauma release, and even intuitive enhancement. It's not fantasy, it's physics. You're not just a mind and a body, you're a system of oscillating frequencies, and sound is your most direct tuning tool. And if this excites you, if there's a voice in you saying, "I've felt this before," then don't stop here. Subscribe, hit the bell, because this is not a one-time experience. It's a practice, a recalibration, a remembering of what it means to be whole. In the next part, we'll explore how to build a daily listening ritual with 963 Hz, what to expect as you go deeper, and the subtle signs that your frequency is shifting. But before that, turn on the tone, close your eyes, and ask yourself, if sound can dissolve identity, who would I be if I finally let the noise fall away? Tuning your energy is not a one-time fix. It's a ritual, a recalibration, like brushing the dust off a mirror daily until what's reflected is clear. Here's how to build a simple but powerful listening practice with 963 Hz. 1. When to listen. There are 3 key windows where your brain is most receptive. Just after waking up, hypnagogic state. Before falling asleep, theta entry. Right after meditation or breath work, when ego is quiet. Pick one, or stack them. Commit to 15 to 30 minutes a day. Use headphones if possible, especially for binaural or isochronic tones. Don't multitask. Don't scroll. Just listen. Let the tone be the whole experience. 2. How to listen. Sit or lie down. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and slowly. As you inhale, imagine light gathering at the crown of your head. As you exhale, let that light expand outward, like ripples from a tuning fork. No effort, no goal. Just allow the sound to fill you. You may feel tingling in the forehead, pressure between the brows, a pulling sensation upward, or just deep peace. All of this is natural. You're tuning. 3. What to expect over time. In the first few days, vivid dreams, mood swings, flashes of insight, emotional release. After 1 to 2 weeks, sharper perception, heightened awareness of your inner voice, more synchronicities in your life, deeper meditations. After a month, a sustained sense of presence, reduced mental chatter, spontaneous feelings of connection, peace, and clarity. You may also notice certain things fall away: addictive thoughts, obsessive distractions, emotional reactivity. This isn't magic, it's resonance. It's what happens when you come back into tune with yourself. In the next part, we'll explore what happens beneath the surface, the subtle energetic realignments, the memory shifts, and the identity upgrades that come from long-term exposure to 963 Hz. But before that, ask yourself, if I can change my state by simply changing what I listen to, then what else about my life is waiting to be retuned? You thought you were just listening to a tone, but what you're really doing is repatterning reality. Because when a frequency like 963 Hz enters your system repeatedly, it doesn't just relax you, it reorganizes you. 1. Memory begins to shift. Not the facts, but the feeling around them. You'll begin to notice old wounds don't sting as much. Emotional flashbacks lose their grip. Shame, guilt, fear, they start to loosen, like old software being uninstalled. Why? Because sound goes where words can't. It speaks to the subconscious in its own language, vibration. And 963 Hz, being associated with unity and divine order, helps dissolve the chaos of stored trauma and identity loops. Your story doesn't change, but your relationship to it does, and that changes everything. 2. Perception of time and space expands. The longer you listen, the more you may feel. Time slowing down. A soft detachment from urgency. A new presence that feels timeless. You're not escaping reality. You're dropping into a deeper layer of it. One where linear time isn't the boss. Presence is. This is why advanced meditators report timeless awareness during sound immersion, because frequency aligns your nervous system with non-linear consciousness. 3. Identity begins to reconfigure. This one's subtle and powerful. As your internal noise fades, what remains is stillness, vision, clarity about who you are not. You may find certain friendships or habits suddenly feel hollow. Desires shift. A quiet urge to create, serve, or explore rises. It's not from pressure, it's from alignment. You're no longer running on broken programming. You're remembering your design, and that changes how you walk, speak, breathe, choose. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally in tune. In the final part, we'll tie this all together. How to use 963 Hz, not just as a tool, but as a mirror to evolve faster, deeper, and more truthfully. And we'll leave you with a question you won't be able to forget. But before that, feel your breath, your spine, your field. Then ask, if I'm not who I was before I started listening, then who am I becoming? You've listened, not just to sound, but to yourself. And maybe, for the first time, you've heard something deeper than thought, quieter than fear, more real than identity, a frequency, a remembering, a return. Because this isn't just about music or meditation or science. It's about resonance. You've been chasing answers out there, and now you're realizing, greater than the tone I needed was the one already vibrating inside me. One, a new way to listen. You don't need to force change. You need to tune into it. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to remember who you were before the noise. Every time you sit, close your eyes and let 963 hertz flood your awareness. You're not escaping. You're calibrating. You're sinking to a field that's always been here. Waiting. Quiet. Precise. 2. What comes next? The path isn't always linear. Some days will feel like clarity. Others will feel like static. But each time you show up, each time you listen without needing something to happen, you train yourself in presence. And presence is the gateway to energy, to intuition, to creation, to love. Because when you tune yourself, everything around you begins to shift with you. So here's your next move. Make it a ritual. Make it sacred. Make it yours. Not because you have to, but because you're done living out of tune, and you're ready to hear your own signal, loud and clear. Now I leave you with one final question. If a single tone could rewire your mind, open your perception, and reconnect you to Source, then what kind of world could we create if we all finally started listening?